from my oncologist, and I have some good news, some great news, actually. Um, and then not so exciting news. I'm kind of bummed about it, but that's okay. Better than the alternative. So yeah, say hello when you get here. This is just an update on my cancer journey. Again, just got back from the oncologist. So here's the good news. The biopsy I had last week came back, and it was negative for cancer cells. Super, super happy about that, which means technically I'm in remission. Technically. They did take it in a weird spot, but because it's such a wide area where the mass is, she's saying that my oncologist is saying that it's tissue, but that the tissue sample came back as negative for cancer cells. So, no CAR T cell therapy. So, that appointment has been canceled. However, I do have to get another Rituxan infusion this coming Friday. So she wants to do the second one of that. And then she's referring me to radiation, and she does want me to get radiation. And she said, for the sake of um, cleanup and consolidation, those were her words. So to make sure that the cancer does not come back. And because I know it is a good day, because there's still scar tissue inflammation, like what came back on the biopsy was inflammation. Um, so not cancer, but inflammation. She said, this is typical. Like, even though it came back that way, she said, you're in remission. Technically, you're in remission. So it's something to celebrate. But she does want to follow up with the final Rituxan and the radiation. So I'm being referred to the radiation doctor sometime in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how many treatments he wants to do. It's pretty targeted right over where the tumor is remaining. And she said it may get rid of some more of the actual tumor itself. We'll see. But yeah. And then I'll have a PET scan after that. And she said, as far as my port, like, I was like, can we please take that out? She's like, no, once you finish radiation, 3 months. So it looks like I won't get the port out until probably 2025. Because I don't know how many treatments of radiation I need. But that's the good news. So I am, in fact, in remission. Yay. Like, I don't know how I feel about it because it doesn't feel real right now. And because my treatments aren't over. Like, it's hard to be excited when I have to go through another treatment on Friday and then radiation following that. But I don't have to do the CAR T cell therapy at the transplant center, the infusion center. It's so weird, too, because I'm gaining weight. Like, every day I'm still gaining weight. And the nurse is like, that's good news. I was like, no, it's not. I'm above where I was before. And he said, no, let's make sure everything is solid. And part of that is just the steroid use, my body needing to detox all of that. She said that that could take several months to get rid of all of the steroid weight. We'll see. I'm going to try not to think about it, but it's highly irritating because I'm not even eating that much to have weight gain. You know, it's annoying, but I don't care so much as like the biopsy came back. And I had a feeling. I've been doing a lot of meditating and a lot of praying about not having the cancer, like just being healed and claiming all of that and writing about it. And so the fact that it came back as no cancer cells makes me very happy. But the reason I guess they do the radiation is because it's about that big still. Lengthwise, it's about 2.5 inches, the remaining tissue. And where they took was like right above my belly button, which is like the tip of it. That's still sore. And I showed her and I said, but it's more to the right. She said, well, they still can get a sample there. Now, because what they called bulky disease, because my tumor was so large and it covered such a large area, they do want to just be certain that there's it targeted radiation to kill anything that potentially could be still remaining as far as cancer cells, because farther over to the right, maybe, I don't know. But she does want to do the Rituxan as well. So that's it. I don't know what else to tell you because I don't know anymore other than I have to wait and make my appointment. Like they're supposed to call me to book the radiation. Then I meet with that doctor before he figures out the treatment. He has to look at the PET scan, the biopsy, the treatments I've already done before he comes up with his plan and make sure that it's not going to damage any of my internal organs because of where it's at, right? Kidneys, my intestines and whatnot, but that's not going to be affected. And as long as he says it's a go, it's a go. So probably why she wants to keep the port in case he decides not to do radiation, but she said it shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, I mean, my mind is at ease just knowing the cancer's not growing, right? Because the last PET scan I had, it was still supposedly metabolically active. Like there was still a bunch of uptake in the PET scan. So this makes me happy for sure, but it hasn't sunk in. And because I'm not done with treatment, like if I felt like, okay, it's done, like I probably would say no to the radiation. But there's a part of me that's like, no, you need to have the radiation. Like, do the cleanup work. And she said, regardless, the Rituxan, the radiation will be a second sort of insurance that it doesn't come back as quickly, if at all. Right. So that's my hope. Now, I still have, I was explaining this to my dad, follicular lymphoma in my intestine, which is chronic. It's treatable, it's not curable. So I will have to always get follow ups and have scans done and blood work done to make sure that that follicular lymphoma inside my intestine doesn't grow. And I can tell you, I will be able to feel it if it does, because it does block my intestines when it happens. So, and you can actually feel it. It's a weird, weird deal. And there's a bunch of things with lymphoma too. When it's active, you get a lot of night sweats, kind of like menopause, which she had asked me when I first got diagnosed. She goes, do you have a lot of like hot flashes? And I was like, yeah, it's so weird too, because I've been in menopause for a long time. Like, why I get hot? She goes, that's one of the symptoms of lymphoma. I don't know if you guys knew that, but when you have lymphoma, one of the symptoms is hot flashes and night sweats. I had no idea. I was wondering why my dang hormones were going crazy, prior to getting diagnosed. And it was getting worse. My hair was falling out. I thought maybe my thyroid's off, right? Because I have hypothyroidism from when I had my neck surgery and they cut my thyroid. But it was neither. It was the lymphoma. Yeah, you have terrible night sweats. Yep, lymphoma. I had no idea either. I literally had no idea that that was one of the symptoms. But if you look up lymphoma symptoms, you'll see. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just telling you, like, these are the things. If all of a sudden, and there was a couple men in my lymphoma group that said they found it really odd too, because they didn't know what to think of it. They thought maybe less than testosterone, yada, yada. No, it's actually one of the symptoms of lymphoma. And my night sweats and hot flashes have, since I've gone, probably since number 6, it's probably been, I want to say maybe like 3 weeks since my last Rituxan infusion. I haven't had any hot flashes. None. Zero. It's been cool. In fact, at night, I've been getting cold where all through treatment and all through the year, like at nighttime, I just end up like excessive sweating from the night sweats too is another one of those symptoms. So like I would be waking up in a pool of sweat like every night. So it's not just night sweats and hot flashes. It's like your body's trying to do something. Right? Animal Owners Alliance, like there was a lot of like moisture on my pillow and it made sleeping really, really difficult. Thanks, Pepper. So, I don't want to freak anyone out, but yeah, if you have someone who's like either losing weight, gaining weight, their hair is falling out for no apparent reason, and they've got some weird lumps. And even because lymphoma is a blood cancer, you may not always have lumps. But you know, if night sweats and the dripping on the pillow, hot flash thing continues for a lengthy amount of time and your doctor can't figure out what it is, make sure they check your blood, check your, do a full metabolic panel, complete metabolic panel, CMP, because that will test your red blood cells, your white blood cells. As far as my blood, because I made them cancel lab work today. I called yesterday. I was like, hey, do you guys have me on the books for lab work? And they're like, yeah. And I said, can you cancel that? And she said, why? I said, because I had lab work done last week during the biopsy and the results just came out on Friday. So I have a copy of the results, which means Dr. Stewart has a copy of the results. There should be no reason for you to pull my blood again a week later. Not that much has changed. So reluctantly, she canceled it. And I didn't have to have the blood work. I was supposed to have a port flush today, but because she added the second Rituxan back on, and I have to have that Friday, she's like, forget about the port flush because they'll flush it on Friday. I was like, okay, can we take the port out? She's like, no, you have to wait 3 months post radiation before the port comes out. So upon my calculations, if radiation goes the way I'm thinking it's going to go, I probably won't get the port out until January or February, probably closer to February, which sucks. And she goes, is it bothering you? I said, yes. I run into it. I was moving furniture the other day and knocked it, and it felt like it was going to rip out. I scratch it sometimes accidentally, right? Just moving my shirt over, getting dressed, getting undressed. I've scratched it because it's so close to the surface of my skin that like just a little scratch like feels like the thing's going to come popping out. Highly annoying. Plus, I have to stay on blood thinners as long as this port is in because the PICC line I had created a blood clot. So until the port and the blood, like I have to take blood thinners. So I really, really, really want it out. Aside from it's very uncomfortable to sleep on one side because if you look, when I'm laying all crunched up, it pushes that thing up. So it's very uncomfortable. Like it gets very sore and then I have to massage everything and try and kind of maneuver it under my skin. It's very weird. So I'm not happy about that either, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm in remission, officially, technically in remission, even though they want to continue treatment. Just to make sure. She just said consolidation and cleanup, whatever that means. Because I had bulky disease, these are her words, verbatim, bulky disease, they want to make sure that it does not come back and there's no remaining cells and it can't grow. So even though where they took the sample of the biopsy is showing no cancer, just inflammation, not surprising, they do want to just be on the safe side. So yeah. She goes, but your hair's growing. I'm like, I know. It is. It feels so weird to have my hair growing. And I don't know why it's not growing more on this side. I need to do my ultraviolet wand or something. Yeah. I've been kind of tired the last 24 hours because I did move. I don't know if you guys can tell. I actually moved my entire desk in here, moved everything, moved my filing cabinet. Like my massage table is now set up. Bought a new bookcase and my recliners in here. So I actually can see clients for Rife therapy and scalar therapy. I'm not necessarily doing biomag therapy. And I'm not necessarily seeing clients in person until I feel like my immune system's a little bit better. It is getting better, but now it's going to get knocked a little bit because I have to have the Rituxan. So that's where we're at. The good news is I have been, without having to aside from yesterday, I was really not happy yesterday. I was super tired, super sore from moving furniture and books and whatnot for the whole entire weekend. And I'm not done yet, but I had to stop because my body hurts that bad. Like I have a lot of inflammation in my body, I can tell, just because there's so much soreness. So I did take Tylenol. But I'm not in bed taking naps during the day, right? Aside from yesterday, I had to lay down because I was really not feeling good. And there's something in the air here in the San Antonio, Texas area, because I saw on our local Facebook groups, someone was posting like, you people with allergies or no allergies, have you found that like you're having weird allergies? Yes. Like I've been sneezing like crazy. Took Allegra the other day. It didn't touch it. Didn't take it yesterday. Just washed my car over the weekend. And it's like this weird fine dust is back on my car, even though we've had no rain, no wind. So something's in the air. And the pollen count last week said ragweed, which I am highly reactive to ragweed. But the ragweed count's really low. So something's in the air. And as we were driving to the doctor, like it was very smoggy looking towards Austin, which is north of us. So it's very weird. Something's in the air. I'm not the only one reacting. And my eyes, like I'll wake up, my eyes are puffy, and they still are. That seems like in the afternoon, um, it's worse. And we have like the humidity levels are super low right now. Usually it's pretty high here in Texas, except for when we hit fall temperatures. The temperatures have dropped to where it's like 60 degrees in the morning. It's so nice after waking up and having it 90 degrees in the morning with massive humidity. It's nice not to have a ton of humidity and cooler temperatures. We're actually experiencing a cold front over the next couple of days, and then the temperatures will go back up. But right now, um, I'm wondering if there's some sort of funny dust settling that's irritating. I'm curious wherever you guys are, because it is fall allergy season, trees, pollens, and whatnot. Is anyone else experiencing weird allergies? I mean, seriously, my eyes have been super swollen and puffy. They still are. And the sneezing, like today, it's been okay, but I've also had some weird asthma attacks. And I usually don't get any kind of asthma unless I'm allergic to something, right? Or what they call back in the 80s, athlete's asthma, when I used to ride on the track early mornings, right? Like your lungs are pumping, even though you're standing up on the horse, your lungs are pumping. And it's a lot harder work than it looks. Like it really is. And so when I was riding on the track, I got asthma attacks all the time. And then I had to stop because I ended up with bronchitis and cracked a rib. So, and then when I was doing sometimes when I do skating, like lots of heavy duty skating, and why I stopped running, I'll get asthma attacks if there's something to irritate my chest, my throat. Okay. Allergies, puffy eyes, having issues breathing. Something's in the air. Seriously. I'm glad I asked because I don't think it's just Texas. I mean, we share the air. There's no borders to air. So when the jet stream comes through, and I know on our side of the um, United States, the lower half, even though I'm in the South in Texas, the jet stream actually goes from Texas across the southern states up to New York and Virginia, Pennsylvania, like the whole jet flow, it goes that way. So I'm not surprised at all. Got pneumonia riding at the track in the morning. Aqueduct is off of the bay. Yeah. And I was riding in California and up in Washington. So, like, it was horrible, like horrible, And I had never had, I mean, I had horses all that time, never had a problem except for riding at the track, like show jumping, training in the arena, going on trail, never had a problem until, and I don't know if it's just because the horses are kicking up dust and you're riding right into it, breathing it in, and that fine dust is affecting. But yeah, bad asthma attacks. It's crazy. Hi, Miss Boho Peggy. Lomita, California. So cool. It's good that you're catching me live. It's good to see you. Right? Yeah, people don't realize how much work it is to ride a racehorse. Like exercise riding is so difficult. It takes its toll. Like, and I mean, it's like isometrics, right? It was the best leg and butt workout of my life, and arms, because you have to hold on your whole body and you're bent over, right? A lot of workout on your thighs, your calves, your hips, your inner thighs, your back, your butt, riding on the track. Like you burn so many calories, but it's very hard on the lungs. Like for whatever reason, and the colder it was in the mornings when we did early morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning workouts, when I lived up in Washington, it was so cold that your lungs would burn. They didn't have as much problem with asthma then, but California, Absolutely. Like, even though we were riding early in the mornings, which was nice, wasn't super, super cold, but there's something about that dust hitting you and the amount of energy you're outputting. It was bad. Just thinking about it makes me like want to sneeze. Anywho, so yeah, I don't know if you guys are experiencing all that stuff with the allergies, but it's bad. And our pollen count's down. Ragweed's down this week. Like, everything was low. Grass, mold, and ragweed was low, which are typical things around here, or oak, that would cause allergies. It's all very low. So it's not from that. There's something in the air. So if you guys are experiencing it, and I'm telling you, I tried Allegra, didn't do crap. I haven't used my sinus wash, my Navage, since starting chemo back in May. I haven't done any sinus washes because my immune system's pretty low, and they kind of warn you against doing stuff like that. I might have to. I don't have that many nose hairs. That's one of the side effects of chemo, is you lose all your body hair. My nose hairs are starting to come back, but I lost a bunch of my nose hairs. So my nose gets irritated a lot faster. My nose runs a lot easier than it ever did before. Um, and like, my eyelashes are barely coming back. My eyebrows are starting to come back, but my nose is still, it's like things get in easier. And I don't want to wear a mask all the time. So yeah, I'll be curious to see if anybody else in the comments, like even if we're watching the replay, shares what's going on with you guys as far as allergies, because it's horrible right now. My granddaughter's going through it. My daughter Brindy, she's going through it too. My dad said he's a little irritated in the nose. He's blowing his nose more than normal, but he doesn't have like bad allergy reactions. And I haven't seen Bella except in passing, so I don't know if she's going through it, but very curious to know if you guys are. Very, very curious. Anywho, all right. I love you guys. Have a good day. I will see you later.